Hey, how you doing? It's quite late, and I thought, it's a good time to make a video and, have a beer. I want to tell you about a thing. That's quite an enticing intro, isn't it? So, let me tell you a story. 7, 8 years ago, something like that, I was heavily focused on pugilism as kind of a subject, a passion, a pastime, both practicing it and researching it. It was my living. It was my full-time living. I travelled around the world, travelled to the States several times, taught seminars and courses, met up with some amazing people and published a lot of stuff. Along the way, I found something that I thought was groundbreaking. Everybody that's involved with HEMA kind of has this desire to find the new manuscript, the one that changes everything, the famous one that people will talk about for years. And I thought I had. I genuinely thought I had. I'd found an amazing thing. I'd found JEM Belcher's treatise on boxing, published in 1806, entitled A Treatise on the Art of Boxing by Mr. J. Belcher, published by T. Plummer, printer, Seething Lane. And I was just, do you know what, I was so happy. Transcribed the thing out, I made it look pretty, turned it into a PDF, and all the time I was thinking, this feels familiar, and I couldn't quite place it. So what I'll do, rather than tell you any more about it at this point, I'm just going to read you some of it to give you an idea of the flavour of the thing, because it's brilliant, it's fantastic, and I'm sure you're going to love it as much as I did. So here we go. Boxing is a combat depending more on strength than the exercise of the sword does, but art will bear down the beam against it. A lesser degree of art will tell for more than a considerably greater strength. Strength is certainly what the boxer ought to be furnished with, but without art he will succeed but poorly. The deficiency of strength may be greatly supplied by art, but the want of art will have but heavy and unwieldy succour from strength. And how can you not be a little bit excited when you hear that? You read that for the first time and you think, my God, this is JEM Belcher, the most gifted boxer in the history of boxing. This man, the youngest ever boxing champion of all England, and he was brilliant. And this is his work. Or is it? We'll go on for a minute. One moment. The strength of man consists in the power of his muscles, and that power is greatly to be increased by art. The muscles are as springs and levers, which execute the different motions of our body, but by art, a man may give additional force to them. The nearer a man brings his body to the centre of gravity, the truer line of direction will his muscles act in, and consequently with more resisting force. If a man designs to strike a hard blow, let him shut his fist as firmly as possible. The power of his arm will then be considerably greater than if but slightly closed, and the velocity of his blow greatly augmented by it. The muscles which give this additional force to the arm in shutting the fist are the flexors of the fingers, and the extensors are the opposite muscles, as they open or expand the same. I'm going to stop. It goes on. There are several pages of this. It's fantastic. Really good read. I'll give this out to any of my Patreons. I'll just drop this into those. It won't be a paid one. You can just have it. So if you're supporting me on Patreon, you'll get this. Go and check it out. I sent this out to a few people that I knew were researching at the time, people I considered my friends, and I was still, pretty happy that I'd found an amazing thing. Until one of those people, the wonderful Mr. Kirk Lawson. If you're watching, Kirk, hi, how you doing? If you aren't Kirk and you're watching, and I'm hopefully there's somebody watching that isn't him, go and check out his book. It's available, I think it's Lulu. It might be on Amazon as well. It's called Banned from Boxing. It's maybe the 2nd edition now, possibly even the 3rd. Not sure. I've got a 1st edition of it kicking around somewhere. Anyway, he sent one back to me saying, I think that's plagiarised, mate. And he was absolutely 100% right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read you something else and see if it rings any bells. Boxing is a combat depending more on strength than the sword, but art will yet bear down the beam against it. A less degree of art will tell for more than a considerably greater strength. Strength is certainly what the boxer ought to set out with, but without art he will succeed but poorly. The deficiency of strength may be greatly supplied by art, but the want of art will have but heavy and unwieldy succour from strength. I'm sure that you noticed, as quickly as I did, exactly why it was that I thought that this was quite a familiar piece of writing. And I guess that I was really hoping that I was wrong, and I'd kidded myself into thinking that I'd discovered something new and fantastic. Turns out that this was actually written by Godfrey in 1747. So some 60 years before this was reprinted. So, you know, probably at the time people didn't know Godfrey's work, and quite blatantly plagiarising it was probably a smart move. So I don't know if this was actually done by Mr. J. Belcher, or whether it was done by somebody just using the name of a successful boxer in order to try and promote something. I suspect probably the latter, but I don't know. I could well be wrong. So I know there are some of you guys out there, some of my fight team, who are fantastic researchers, who know an awful lot about this and have done a lot of reading and studying of this thing. So tell me, is this something you've come across? How many other copies have you come across of Godfrey's work? Because I've now found several. It's been plagiarised heavily because it's so well written and it's so good and was so early. It was very easy to just copy it and chuck it out there with another name on, and nobody would even know. So yeah. Let me know, and yeah, I just want to say I'm still a little bit sad that since I found that second copy of George de Rovescoff's The Art of Wrestling, I've not managed to get a video to 10,000 views. It feels like I should be able to, and you know, I've had a bit of a push, and we've put out a lot of videos, and yeah, we've still not got there. So I've still got it, and I'm still going to give it to someone. I haven't decided who or how I'm going to choose them, but all I know is that when a video hits 10,000 views, a video that was made since the time I got that second book, I'm going to give a copy away. It's a fantastic book, and yeah. So anyway, yeah, do all the usual things. It'd be great if you could subscribe if you aren't subscribed. You know, that'd be awesome. Stick something in the comments. That's my favourite bit, and I probably shouldn't make a big fuss about that because clearly that's not getting me 10,000 views on a video, is it? But you know what? I like the conversations. I like getting to know you guys. I like the chats that we get there, the little conversations, and I think it's fantastic to have a bit of a natter. So yeah. Stick something in the comments and put this video in front of somebody. Let's get it to 10,000 and then I'll send you a book. Why not? Fight team.